What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Economic Prepper here. Got a lot to cover today. I've got some sobering information that I want to share with you guys, and I really hope that you guys are prepared. Hope that you guys are starting your economic preps. Obviously, you're doing your traditional preps, such as preparing your pantries. You're hitting up Costco and Walmart and Sam's Club, BJ's. You're buying in bulk and getting ready to hunker down if need be. And you're filling your pantries with water. I know you're filling your pantries with water filtration, replacement water filtration filters and the like. We've been seeing droughts, multiple crises, and the list of crises are only going to get longer. I want to talk to you guys about some things today that not a lot of channels are talking about, but this is going to be economically focused because this prep needs to be done, and I'm not aware that a lot of people are handling this side of the game. I want to open you guys' eyes up to a few different things that you may or may not know. If you do know, then this will be reinforcement for your prep. If you don't know, well, I guess drop a like for the video and also leave me some comments down below. Also, I want to encourage the community to please share your tips. I don't know everything, guys. I'm not an expert. I will never ever claim to be an expert. I'm always a student. I'm always learning, and I'm going to remain humble just because that's just how we should all be. No one's all-knowing, and we're just sharing information out here. We want to help everyone to be able to make it through these graduating tough times. I've got some news here that is going to affect, it's going to continually affect everything that we pay for, whether it's gas prices, whether it's, milk, eggs, meats at the grocery store, grocery prices, even, heck, baby formula, everything that we pay for will be affected. Your rent rates, the amount of money that you're spending every single month just to keep a roof over you and your family's head for rent, your mortgage payment. Even if you have a mortgage payment, you're not isolated from the coming effects, the continuous effects of the economic situations that we're in. And I want to talk to you guys about preparation in a way where not a lot of people are discussing this. Recent news came out that the U.S. Fed Reserve says that its goal is to get wages down. Now, most people's goal is to increase their wages. So what's really scary right now is that you have a massive organization called the Federal Reserve that you can't really beat. They're controlling the money supply. So when you have an institution that controls the money, and they're telling you that their goal is to get wages down, this is not what you want to hear. And I don't know if a lot of people have heard this before. You guys comment down below if you're aware of this, but this is an official statement that the U.S. Federal Reserve says that its goal is to get wages down. And how are they going to get wages down? They have multiple tools that will enable them to do this. The chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, has said that his goal is to get wages down in a press conference that announced that the Fed would be raising interest rates by 0.5 percentage point and implementing policies aimed at reducing inflation in the United States, which is at its highest level in 40 years. Now, this actually came out just before the 75 basis point rate hike that took place. So they were initially planning to do a 50 basis point rate hike. Things turned out to be worse than expected, and they ended up saying, hey, we need to be more aggressive. We need to bring these rates up. We need to bring inflation down. And so they hit us with a 75 basis point rate hike. Now, this is scary because they said, this is from Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is the Fed chairman of the Fed. He said, quote, employers are having difficulties filling job openings and wages are rising at the fastest pace in many years. Basically, the pattern that we've been seeing is that wages are rising across the board. Not everyone's benefiting from the rate rises, but the problem is that while in many cases people's wages are rising, they're not rising faster than the cost of gas. They're not rising faster than the increase in rent. They're not rising faster than the cost of housing. Has anybody tried to buy a house recently? The home prices are just astronomically appreciating, and it's almost unsustainable. I mean, it is unsustainable. It's not almost, it is unsustainable. But the problem is that a lot of people are not prepared for what's about to happen. So not only are we seeing incremental increases in our income, which are not great enough to overcome the increases in our expenses such as gas, food, housing, rent costs, taxes. The problem that we're going to be facing that a lot of people are not prepared for is the fact that the Fed's goal, it literally says the US Federal Reserve's goal is to get wages down. That is the Federal Reserve's goal. I'm not making this stuff up, you guys. So, number one, I mean, I'm going to share a handful of tips and economic preparatory things that you can do. None of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing information with you as if you were my brother. So, number one, first and foremost, if you do not have an emergency fund, you better start building one right now. And I don't care if you don't make that much money and you can only save $5 a week, do it. Okay? If you're carrying high interest credit card debt, I would strongly consider considering reevaluating what your options are. Now, one thing that I would be doing personally is, and this is just me, I'm not saying that you need to do this. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you information that I would employ myself, that I have employed in previous recessionary times. I'm not old enough to have been through a lot of different recessions, but I'm gonna just share with you what I've done, and I'm gonna share with you what I know other people who have made it through recessions successfully have done. Number one, first and foremost, I'll be strongly looking to refinance or transfer balances from any kind of high interest credit card that I might have. And what I would be doing is I would strongly consider transferring the balance to a 0% interest credit card. There are still several out there that exist. Maybe I'll take some time in the future and compile a list of 0% interest credit cards that you guys can apply for, and maybe get out of 20% interest credit cards and roll it into zero. That will help you, number one, get out of debt faster, but it can also allow you to stretch your dollars further. And what do I mean by that, right? So let's just say, because these interest rates are going to be going up, they're already going up. So your credit cards and any other variable interest credit card or debt that you're carrying, that means that your monthly bills are going higher. And in order to sustain yourself for longer periods of time, you need to somehow reduce your overhead, right? So if you had a 0% interest credit card, but if you had a 20% interest credit card, but you find a 0% interest credit card that you could transfer the balance onto, your balance could hypothetically go from, the balance won't change, but your monthly payment will change, which will allow you to have your dollars go further. Meaning, let's just say you have a $10,000 balance on your credit card and your monthly minimum payment is, I don't know, $180 a month. Well, if you roll that over to a 0% interest credit card, and I've seen several out there that are offering 0% interest from anywhere from 6 months, 12 months, 18 months at 0% interest, your monthly payment could literally go from, say, $180, $200 a month down to $60. So now you could take that extra $160, $150, whatever it happens to be, you've got an extra $150 that you can do something with. You could take that money and apply it to the balance of the card and pay the credit card off faster, or you could apply it to paying or contributing to your emergency fund and building your emergency fund faster. So the thing is if you were already paying, say, 20% interest on a previous credit card and then you rolled it over to a 0% interest credit card, once that period of 0% interest expires, it's probably going to go back to whatever you were previously paying for interest on that credit card. But what that allows you to do is it allows you to build a emergency fund faster so that you and your family could sustain yourself for a longer period of time in the event of a wage reduction. I mean, we've already talked about the fact that the Fed wants to reduce incomes. They want to reduce wages. This can also extend how many months of survival that you can be able to withstand. anything that's going to allow you to build your savings account right now, wherever you happen to be storing your money, I'm going to be voting for that. I'm going to be on board with that, because the key here is survival. And I'm not, as much as I like to be out of debt, I don't think that now is the time to aggressively pay down low interest debt. In my opinion, you know, in the face of higher gas prices, higher food prices, potential food shortages going forward, I'm a big fan of having a big, fat, secure emergency fund. And you know, everyone's going to be in a different financial situation, but you know, until I have a big, fat, very, very secure emergency fund, I'm talking, you know, aim for a month. If you don't have any emergency fund, aim for a month, then build 2 months, then build 3 months. Ideally, I want to see a good 1 to 2 years of emergency funds stashed. That's just me. I'm not saying that you need to do that. I'm not saying everyone needs to do that, but I'm just saying it's all about preparation. Because when you have a big emergency fund, you are less vulnerable to the whims and swings of the market that will inevitably come. You got a 6 month to 2 year emergency fund. If your boss came to you and said, hey, you know, times are rough right now, you know, you've been a great employee, but we have to let you go, unfortunately, that news is going to hit you less hard than if you didn't have any emergency fund and you know you got rent due and your kids are hungry, right? So the key is to break away from the paycheck to paycheck situation and build an emergency fund. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is also creating multiple streams of income. If you only have a job, if you only have one source of income, it's like a one-legged stool, or maybe like a three-legged stool. I don't know. Anyway, the point is you have a single point of failure. If that source of income dried up for whatever reason, then you're immediately having, you know, zero income coming in. There's a number of different ways to generate income that you can add to your repertoire, you can add to your income sources by just kind of like building up. You can create additional sources of income by just kind of like creating these pathways, these avenues. Let's just talk about Walmart, for example, right? So you got Walmart. I forget the names of the other ones, but Walmart's not the only one that's doing this. Walmart has something called Spark. What is it? Walmart Spark Deliveries. So basically, if you got a car, or you know, if you're sharing a car, I know some people are sharing a car, but if you can do Walmart deliveries using the Walmart Spark Delivery, and you have to apply for it. But I've discovered many people who are clearing an extra $100 a day, making really simple Walmart deliveries of groceries using this Walmart Spark. So look it up, guys. Comment down below if this is the first time you've heard about it. I would strongly suggest that you start considering that, right? Different companies are going to be cutting back. More and more people are looking to be more efficient with their time. So more and more people are actually wanting to have groceries delivered, and the Walmart Spark delivery service is a service that you can actually generate additional income from. You can supplement your income using that. So strongly recommend that you look into that. Also, if you guys are not familiar with it, if you've got an extra car sitting around, I know some people who are not working right now have told me that they're concerned about making their car payments. I also mentioned that, you know, if you've got any kind of variable rate loan, that loan will likely be going up as a result of these Fed rate increases, right? So if you're unemployed or you're not using your car, or you have an extra car, if you have an extra car, you could consider selling it. Right now, used vehicle rates or used vehicle prices are much higher than they used to be. You'd be surprised. You may actually be able to sell your car for more than what you bought it for. I know it sounds silly because used cars are generally considered depreciating assets, but you would be surprised with this whole supply chain issue and supply chain problems that we've been dealing with. Used car prices have actually been going up. I know people who have had cars for 2 years put 15, 25,000 miles on these cars and then went and sold them to dealerships for what they paid for the vehicle 2 years prior, sometimes even more. It's ridiculous right now, but take advantage of some of these situations that are, they're bad circumstances that you can actually benefit you and your family from doing. Here's another thing. If you have an extra vehicle, or let's just say you're not working, you're unemployed, whatever the case may be, and so you're not using your car every day, you could actually list your car on different websites like Turo, for example, and actually generate some extra income from the vehicle, from your car, from your van, from your truck that you're not using. You would be surprised how many people are hitting the Turo website every single day just looking for a vehicle just to drive for 24 hours. So that can be an extra source of income for you passively. This could be a passive source of income if you're not using your vehicle. So I just wanted to just share a couple of things with you guys. We covered 2 different ways to generate passive income, or not really necessarily passive income in both cases, but one source, one method is passive income through maybe potentially listing your vehicle on Turo. Turo also offers some insurance on there to cover your car. Definitely consider that. I just want to share helpful information to you guys. If you guys have more information, more ideas, I've got a lot more ideas to share with you guys. I just don't want to make a 5-hour video, but if you guys have more ideas that you want me to cover, if you have ideas that you know of, please share them in the comments down below. Let us help each other to be able to survive this economic fallout that's only about to get worse. One other thing that I want to share with you guys in this video is that the Fed hiking interest rates by 75 basis points and predicting 3 years of rising unemployment. So the Fed, as they're raising the interest rates, they're anticipating that unemployment will go higher. So, you know, pay attention, you guys. If you just started a new job, I'm going to be honest with you, first in, first out. So if you just started a new job, extra hustle on that job. Show up early. Don't let your company or your manager ever feel like they could survive without you. You need to be like just being an amazing employee at this time. Also, pay attention to the business that you work for. Pay attention to the company that you work for. If you start seeing fewer people being hired, if you start seeing people getting let go, if you see less business coming through, if you see fewer, if you see fewer customers coming in, pay attention, you guys. That would mean those are some warning signs that you may be working for a company that's losing their financial stability. And companies higher greater expenses is generally employee overhead. So I'm just saying, pay attention to the warning signs so that if you happen to be in one of those situations where you're working for a company that might be losing their economic footing, maybe you can start making plans to kind of move yourself to, more stable ground and maybe land a better job somewhere else. So just a couple of points I wanted to hit in today's video. We covered a lot today. I know that this is a little bit of a different video than what we would normally cover, but I wanted to make sure that we're covering everything full spectrum. And going forward, this is an economic game, so we have to be prepping economically. You need to be prepping your pantry. You need to be prepping. If you don't have a generator, consider getting a generator, because I know a lot of you guys are spending hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars in your preps. Storing foods that need to be chilled and refrigerated. So you don't want to run the risk that your refrigerator goes down as a result of a power outage or a brownout or controlled power shutdown, which we've talked about in previous videos. So a generator would help you to sustain and keep your investments cool, keep your food cool for longer periods of time. Anyway, guys, I just want to share these tidbits of information with you guys. If you got value out of this video, drop a like for the video. Check out my other videos. I'm continuously sharing more and more knowledge with you guys and more updates as the situation evolves. We can make it, guys. So stay positive. This is also a psychological game, so we're psychologically prepping and we're also economically prepping. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.